After 65, there is one comfort shoe feature that can quietly, almost invisibly, increase your risk of tripping. And here is the surprising part. It is not something wrong with the shoe. It is actually something the shoe was designed to do. It is not the toe box. It is not your age. It is what the sole is doing to your feet without you even realizing it. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what this feature is. You will have a simple 60-second shoe check you can do at home, and you will understand how to choose footwear that feels good and keeps you safer. So stay with me, because this might just change how you think about the shoes sitting in your closet right now. Before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment with your age and where you are watching from today. I read these comments, and it helps me understand who is here so I can keep making videos that actually matter to you. Whether you are 62 in Ohio, 78 in Florida, or you are a caregiver watching for your mom or dad, let me know. Now let us get into this. The feature I am talking about is the extra thick, ultra soft cushioned sole. You know the kind. It feels like walking on a cloud. When you step into them at the store, your feet practically sigh with relief. And the marketing is everywhere. Pillow soft, maximum cushion, all-day comfort. These soles have become incredibly popular in the last decade, and I understand why. They feel wonderful. If you have been on your feet all day or you have some arthritis, that plush feeling is very appealing. But here is what those advertisements never mention. That same softness can actually interfere with something your body desperately needs to stay upright. It is called proprioception, and we are going to talk about it in plain language so it actually sticks. Proprioception is your body's hidden sense. It is how your brain knows where your feet are without looking at them. You have millions of tiny sensors in the soles of your feet, in your ankles, in the muscles and joints of your lower legs. These sensors constantly send signals up to your brain. They tell you whether the ground is sloped, whether you are stepping on carpet or tile, whether your weight is shifting too far forward. And they do this in milliseconds. That speed matters because when you start to stumble, your body has only a fraction of a second to catch itself. If those sensors cannot feel the ground clearly, that correction comes too late. Think about it this way. Imagine trying to type on a keyboard while wearing thick winter gloves. You could probably do it, but you would be slower and clumsier. You would make more mistakes because your fingers cannot feel the keys properly. Now apply that same idea to your feet. When you stand on a thick, ultra-soft sole, it is like putting a pillow between your foot sensors and the floor. The signals still get through, but they are muffled, delayed, less precise, and in that tiny delay, a stumble can turn into a fall. Now, here is where this gets really practical. Let me walk you through some everyday scenes. Picture stepping off a curb at the grocery store parking lot. Normally, your foot senses exactly how far down that curb is, and your ankle adjusts instantly. But with an overly cushioned sole, the height feels uncertain. The cushion compresses in ways you did not expect. Your ankle wobbles a bit as it tries to figure out what just happened. Usually you recover, but the margin of error has shrunk. Or think about walking from your kitchen tile onto a thick area rug. That transition should be seamless. Your foot should feel the change and adapt without you even thinking about it. With a very soft sole, that feedback is dampened, and your foot placement becomes a little less sure. Here is another one. You are walking around your coffee table, maybe distracted by the television or carrying a cup of tea. Normally, your foot sensors help you clear that table leg by a safe margin. But with a thick sole, something else happens. That extra height at the front of the shoe changes your toe clearance. You think your foot is clearing the obstacle, but the shoe is actually taller than you realize. The toe catches. You lurch forward. This is one of the most common ways trips happen, and it often has nothing to do with weakness or poor balance. It has to do with the simple geometry of your shoe and how it interacts with your body's ability to feel the floor. I want to pause here because I know some of you might be thinking, well, I have worn these shoes for years and I have been fine. And that might be true. Not everyone who wears a heavily cushioned shoe is going to fall. But here is what I see in my practice, and what research consistently suggests. As we get older, our proprioception naturally declines a bit. The sensors in our feet become slightly less sensitive. The nerves that carry those signals can slow down. If you add a thick cushioning layer on top of that natural change, you are compounding the problem. You are starting from a disadvantage, and then you are reducing the feedback even more. That is the hidden risk. It is not dramatic, it is gradual, and most people never connect their stumbles to their shoes. Speaking of that, have you ever tripped over something and thought, that came out of nowhere? There is a good chance it did not come out of nowhere. There is a good chance your foot just did not clear it by enough, and you did not realize until it was too late. Doorway thresholds are a classic example. Those little metal or wooden strips between rooms are only maybe half an inch tall, sometimes less. But with a thick, squishy sole, you are essentially walking on a platform. Your toe sits higher off the ground than you think. And when you are not consciously lifting your feet, which, let us be honest, none of us do when we are just walking around our own house, that threshold catches your toe. Same thing with parking lot cracks, uneven sidewalks, garden hoses, the edge of a mat. All right, let me give you something you can actually use. I want to walk you through a 60-second shoe check you can do right now. Go grab a pair of your everyday shoes, the ones you wear most often. If you cannot get them right this second, that is okay. Just remember to come back and do this later. But if you can, pause the video and grab them. We will do this together. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is the thumb press test. Hold the shoe in your hands and press your thumb firmly into the midsole. That is the layer between the outer bottom and the part where your foot sits. How much does it collapse? A little bit of give is normal and even desirable. But if your thumb sinks in deeply, like you are pressing into a marshmallow, that is a very soft sole. That level of softness is what can muffle the signals from your feet. Just notice it. We are not saying the shoe is bad. We are just gathering information. Next is the wobble test. Put the shoes on. Stand near your counter or sturdy surface. Just stand there normally for a few seconds. Now pay attention. Do you feel stable, or do you feel a little side-to-side sway? Do your ankles feel like they are constantly making tiny corrections? If you feel like you are standing on a slightly unstable surface, like a soft mattress or a thick gym mat, that is the wobble I am talking about. A shoe should help you feel grounded, not like you are balancing on something unpredictable. This does not mean you have bad balance. It means the shoe might be adding an extra challenge you do not need. Third is the twist test. Take the shoe off and hold it by the toe and the heel. Now try to twist it like you are wringing out a towel. How much does it rotate? A little bit of flex is fine, but if it twists very easily, almost like a soft slipper, that is a sign of low torsional stability. Why does that matter? Because when you walk, especially when you turn or change direction, your foot twists slightly against the ground. A shoe that twists too easily will not give you the resistance you need to feel planted and secure. Fourth is the heel hold test. Put the shoes back on and take a few steps. Pay attention to your heel. Does it stay locked in place? Or does it slide up and down inside the shoe with each step? Heel slip is a common problem, and it is more than just an annoyance. When your heel slips, your brain gets confused signals about where your foot is in space. That confusion can slow your reaction if you stumble. A good shoe should hold your heel snugly without pinching. You should not feel it lifting away from your foot when you walk. Finally, the traction glance. Flip the shoe over and look at the bottom. Are there worn, smooth spots where the tread has disappeared? Are there areas that look shiny or slick? Tread matters because it is what grips the floor. If your sole is worn smooth, especially under the ball of the foot or the heel, your shoe might slide on tile, on polished floors, on wet pavement. This is separate from the cushioning issue, but it is part of the overall picture of whether your shoe is helping you or creating risk. So, what did you notice? Maybe nothing alarming, maybe something that made you go, either way, you now have a baseline. You know what to look for. And if those tests raised some concerns, do not worry. There are things you can do, and I am going to walk you through them. Let me talk about what to look for if you are shopping for a safer comfort shoe. I am not going to name brands because fit and feel vary from person to person, and what works for your neighbor might not work for you. Instead, I am going to give you features to look for so you can evaluate any shoe on its own merits. First, look for a stable base. This means a sole that feels firm enough to give you feedback, but still has some cushioning for comfort. You do not need to go back to hard leather soles. The goal is controlled cushioning, not maximum cushioning. When you stand in the shoe, you should feel the ground beneath you, not like you are floating above it. Second, check the heel counter. That is the back part of the shoe that wraps around your heel. Press on it with your fingers. It should feel firm, like it will actually hold your heel in place. If it is soft and collapses easily, it is not going to provide the stability you need. Third, pay attention to the sole height and toe spring. Some shoes have what is called a high stack height, meaning the sole is quite tall. That extra height adds to the toe catching problem we talked about. Look for a moderate sole height, nothing extreme. The toe spring, which is how much the front of the shoe curves upward, should also be moderate. A little curve helps your foot roll through each step. Too much can change your gait in ways that feel unnatural. Fourth, check traction. Look for a tread pattern that has texture and depth. If the sole looks almost smooth or has a shallow pattern, it might not grip well on indoor floors or outdoor surfaces. Test it in the store if you can. Walk on tile, on carpet, on any surface they have. Fifth, and this is important, make sure the fit is right. Your heel should be locked in. Your foot should not slide around inside the shoe. But the toe box should have enough room that your toes are not cramped. Width matters too. A shoe that is too wide will let your foot slide side to side. Too narrow, and you will have discomfort and possibly circulation issues. The fit should feel snug and secure without pinching anywhere. Here is a lacing tip if you are working with lace-up shoes. Many people just tie their shoes loosely across the top, but you can actually improve heel hold by using a technique sometimes called a heel lock. It involves using the top eyelets in a specific way that cinches the heel more securely. If you are not sure how to do it, ask at a good shoe store or look it up. But the idea is to use those top eyelets to really anchor your heel. It can make a noticeable difference. Now, what if you already own shoes with very thick, soft soles and you do not want to throw them out? Let me give you some realistic options. If the shoes are worn out, meaning the tread is smooth and the cushioning has flattened, it is probably time to replace them. No amount of tweaking will fix a shoe that is past its lifespan. But if the shoes are newer and you just want to improve stability, you have a few choices. One option is a firmer insole. There are insoles designed to add structure and control, not just extra cushioning. If you go this route, make sure the insole does not make the shoe too tight. And if you have foot pain, deformities, or neuropathy, get fitted by a professional rather than guessing. Another option is to adjust your lacing. We talked about the heel lock. Even just tightening the laces more than you usually do can help reduce that sloppy feeling. Consider your socks too. If you are wearing thin, slippery socks, your foot might be sliding around inside the shoe. Socks with a bit of texture or grip, or socks made from materials that do not slide easily, can improve the overall fit. And finally, if you are keeping these shoes, be extra mindful about where you wear them. Maybe they are fine for a stroll in the park on flat pavement, but not the best choice for navigating your cluttered garage or walking through your kitchen where there are transitions and rugs. All right, let me ask you something. What do you typically wear at home? Are you a slippers person, a socks-only person, or do you actually wear shoes inside? And have you ever caught your toe on something, maybe the edge of a rug, a door threshold, the corner of furniture? I am genuinely curious. Drop a comment and let me know. These details help me understand what you are dealing with in real life. Let me shift now to a short transition plan. If you decide to switch to a shoe with less cushioning and more stability, your feet might need a little time to adjust. This is not because there is anything wrong. It is just that your feet and ankles have gotten used to a certain level of softness, and a firmer shoe will feel different at first. Here is how to make that transition smooth. Start with short practice walks indoors. Wear your new shoes around the house for 15 or 20 minutes at a time before you head out for a longer walk. This lets your feet get familiar with the new feedback without adding the challenge of outdoor terrain. When you do walk, focus on a few simple cues. Take slower turns, especially in tight spaces. Consciously lift your toes a bit more when you step, particularly when you are approaching thresholds or stepping over anything. And keep your eyes up, scanning the path ahead, rather than staring at your feet. This combination of awareness and gradual exposure usually makes the transition easy. If you want to do a little extra, there are a couple of foot control practices that can help your feet adapt and even improve your stability overall. These are not the typical balance drills you might have heard before. They are specifically about building better foot awareness and strength. One is toe lift practice. Stand near a counter for support. Keep your heels on the floor and lift just your toes up toward your shins. This motion is called dorsiflexion, and it is the motion that clears your toes when you walk. Hold for a second, then lower. Do a few repetitions. It sounds simple, but many people find their toes do not lift as much as they expected, especially if they have been wearing soft-soled shoes for years. Another is what some people call the short foot exercise. Stand with your feet flat on the floor. Without curling your toes, try to gently lift your arch, as if you are trying to make your foot a little shorter. You are not gripping with your toes. You are just activating the small muscles in your arch. This helps wake up the intrinsic muscles of your foot, which contribute to stability. If this feels confusing at first, that is normal. Just try it a few times and see if you start to feel the subtle activation. A third practice is toe spread and press. Simply spread your toes apart, like you are trying to fan them out, then press them gently down into the floor without curling them. This encourages the kind of active foot contact that helps you feel grounded. Again, do this near something stable in case you feel wobbly. These are not exercises you need to do for an hour. A minute or two a day is enough to start improving your foot-brain connection. And they complement the switch to a more stable shoe by helping your feet become active participants in your balance, rather than passive passengers. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you of some important safety considerations. If you ever experience chest pain, fainting, severe dizziness, new weakness on one side of your body, new confusion, severe shortness of breath, or a sudden severe headache, please seek urgent medical care. These are red flags that require immediate attention and are not related to your footwear. Falls can sometimes be a sign of something else going on, and if you are suddenly tripping more than usual or your balance has changed noticeably, that is worth discussing with your healthcare provider. Similarly, if you have significant numbness in your feet, if you have been diagnosed with neuropathy, or if you have pain or deformities in your feet, please consult a podiatrist or physical therapist before making major footwear changes. They can give you personalized guidance that goes beyond what any video can offer. If this video has helped you see your shoes in a new way, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That small action helps more people find this information, and my goal is to help as many folks as possible stay safe, independent, and confident on their feet. Let me leave you with a clear action step. Today, do the 60-second shoe check. Grab your most worn shoes and go through those tests. The thumb press, the wobble, the twist, the heel hold, the traction glance. Then come back here and comment what you noticed. Did anything surprise you? Are your soles softer than you realized? Is the tread more worn than you thought? I want to hear about it. If those tests raised some flags, consider whether it might be time for a different pair, or at least some adjustments to how you are using those shoes. And if you trip frequently, if you have numbness or pain, or if your balance just does not feel right, please make an appointment with your doctor or a specialist. There is no shame in getting an evaluation. It is actually one of the smartest things you can do. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I know there are 1,000 things competing for your attention, and I am grateful you chose to watch this. Take good care of yourself. Be kind to your feet, and I will see you in the next one.